It's working.
Hey, all right. We did it.
We did it. We're
Or you
live.
did it. Yeah.
After, for whatever reason, YouTube was blocking us.
I see that you're wearing a Mike Dowdy shirt.
I'm wearing a Mike Doty shirt. Ruby Vroom, 1994. It was the Ruby Vroom tour that Mike Doty did in 2018 or 2019. I saw him play the album front to back at the Crocodile here in Seattle, Washington.
And I think you and I don't know if we ever talked about this. He got together with I think it was his bass player.
Yeah, Sebastian.
From Soul Coughing, and they played a little bit of a show.
Did.
Which was nice. I think you and I both could never imagine that would happen. But
especially after reading the Book of Drugs, where he basically just tells his bandmates to go F themselves in about 180 pages.
Exactly. I was trying to think of what it was that he said about Sebastian. It was that they were eating at a restaurant, and there was time to throw in money for the bill, and Sebastian mimed throwing money in, but never actually threw any money in.
I don't remember that part.
But anyway, I mentioned Ruby Vroom in the context of talking to someone named Jennifer, mentioning that I had a wife named Jennifer, and they're of a similar age, and I said, I'm sure that you know a lot. Mike Dowdy has a song called 27 Jennifers.
Yes, he does.
And this person said, "Ahaha, sounds like my grade school class."
Well, I mean, that's the lyric. I went to school with 27 Jennifers.
Yep, exactly.
16 Jen, 10 Jennies, and then there was her.
Oh, such a... I think he's great. I like his lyrics. Very nice. Okay, so
that's weird. There's no... I'm just going to say it because it's happening, and I don't know if anybody's watching, but I cannot see the YouTube chat for whatever reason. So if you're commenting on the stream, I'm sorry. I can't read it.
Oh, no. That is too bad. I'm hoping that... oh, wait. Hey, if you... Oh, Ben, I don't know if we want to mention that they can call.
I don't know. I don't want to get brigaded again. Good Lord.
Oh my God. Yeah, it would be tempting fate. So you and I both watched the finale of Better Call Saul. We were in different places.
Yes.
But we saw it, and I gotta say, Ben, it's been a long time since a TV show has ended, and I felt that feeling of, sort of melancholy of that's it for this show.
That's it. There's no more. Nothing, no more Better Call Saul to look forward to.
Yeah, I can't think of the last time I felt that. Maybe, I mean, it kind of is bad, but maybe Breaking Bad. Maybe I felt similar.
Well, that's the clever thing. I mean, you can go back and rewatch Breaking Bad and, pick up where, not exactly where Better Call Saul left off, but, near the end there.
Yeah. And also spoilers for Better Call Saul, but nice that, it ends with him in prison. Like his life is suspended in the way that the show is suspended now. He is going to be where we left. Well, good behavior.
And after 86 years. I mean, but that's something that we mentioned last week on the show, is that this television show, actions have consequences. And Saul, in the last episode, got his sentence down to a very minimal sentence, but then
7 years.
Did what he felt he needed to do for Kim, or because of Kim, and now he's going to be in jail, prison for the rest of his life.
I really think that he did do that to help tank any civil suit against her. I think that
I don't know.
I don't know exactly how that would work, I do think.
Well, I mean, that's one reason. I don't think that's. I think it's more absolving her of guilt than absolving her.
Oh, that's a really good point. Yeah.
Because he took control, he took charge. He's like, this is who I am. you know? And so it's more like she's not going to have to live with that anymore. She may have to live with giving Howard Hamlin's widow the rest of her money for the rest of her life, but that's that's nothing really Saul can affect.
So I want to talk about something that happens in marketing that I dislike that they did for the finale of Better Call Saul, where they allude to something that you're gonna see that you don't actually see.
Okay.
And that was so the series finale of Better Call Saul, the trailer for that showed his car upside down, from the time that he was going through the desert, with him repeating the vacuum type, which was the audio from when he was in the dumpster. But when you saw it with the picture of that car, it implied that maybe he was trying to escape and he got into a thing. The fact that it was in color made me think, oh, that's probably not right.
Yeah.
But it is still one of those things where you're watching the show wondering if that part is going to come up. And of course it doesn't, because it's not part of the show. But it's interesting. I'm thinking about, you remember the Transporter? I think you and I were in the same city when that was going on.
The Jason Statham movie?
Yeah. There's a thing where he deflects a missile with a serving tray in the trailer. Never happens in the show.
Right. Happens a lot.
I do have a question.
Yeah.
What kind of watch do you have?
It's an Apple Watch.
Okay. This is great, because I'm going to tell you something, Ben. I have become obsessed once again with internet time.
Internet
now,
time.
You might remember this already. Swatch, the watch company, had this idea, kind of, again, taken from the French Revolutionary time system and calendar and all that, called beats. And the idea is that a 24-hour day is divided into 1,000 swatch beats. Beats work their way out to, so like an hour is like 40. How does that work? 40, I want to say 42, or I don't know exactly how, but it works out so that you have 100 like sort of semi beats per beat. It goes from 0 to 100 and then 1 beat. 0 from 100 to, this is at midnight. So at midnight, where the Swatch headquarters are, it's 0, 0, 0. And then you get 100 of these sub beats, and then 1 beat, and then 100 more, and then 2 beats, so on and so forth, until 999 beats, and then at midnight it turns back over.
I don't remember this at all.
Okay. This is in 2000, around 2000. It didn't take off, but I thought it was great because there were no time zones, right? You would everyone had the exact same time based off of this clock. And the idea was, the way that they pitched it was, it's arbitrary, right? It doesn't matter if we started at our headquarters or wherever. It's always the same time. You have a friend that you want to meet in France over the internet to chat. You don't have to do anything about, worried about time zones, whatever. You say, can you make it at 300 beats? And they check their schedule, and they might say, no, I'm sleeping at 300 beats. What about 800? And you figure out how that works. Nobody liked it.
So everybody, you still have to do that conversion. You just don't. You just have to think of it in different numbers.
You say the same number. Everyone knows what that number is. you still have to worry about it being inconvenient for people. But the fact is, in the 2000s, they made watches that had swatch beats on them. Like that is, they would tell normal time, but they also had beats, and you could switch to beats. And here's the thing, Ben, I have tracked down one of these watches. And the question is, of course, what use is it?
That's a good
to
question.
have this watch with these beats if no one else has them and if there's no time? So here's the thing. In a way for me to remember and actually do the podcast better and good at the right time, when I get my watch, we're going to come up with, when we meet for the podcast,
Oh God.
in beats. And you, Ben,
Just
lucky you, there is a watch app that allows you to display beats on your Apple Watch.
I'm not going to do that. You just have to figure out what beat 6 p.m. on Thursday is.
Ben, this is the thing, is I'll tell you what beat 6 p.m. on Thursday is, and then all you have to do is look at your watch. You don't even have to show it to me and go, yeah, okay, Paul, I'll meet you at that many beats. Never change your watch, never even download the app. Just say, yes, great. You show up at 6 p.m. and say, here we are, Paul, at the time that you wanted.
So would this make you show up on time more regularly?
Probably not, but still, it's cool, right?
I'm wondering why this didn't take off.
It might, because it'll make me think about, well, it's the same reason why metric time didn't work for France. You know why metric time didn't work for France?
Why didn't metric time work for France?
Because they'd say, okay, we are going to meet you at the 10th day of the 3rd week in the 13th month of,
I love your French accent,
fancy
by the way.
time. Oh yeah, it's real great. Of the time of flowers or whatever.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, what is that in the regular calendar? We don't use the regular calendar. Okay, we cannot do international trade with you if you're going to come up with these crazy dates and stuff. That's exactly what happened. And they're like, okay, it's June 5th. And they're like, okay, we'll meet you on June 5th. What time? 7:64. Okay, you know what? Same problem. But I gotta say, Ben, you might have actually experienced this as well. When I was in, I want to say it was 5th grade.
Yeah.
There was a big thing at the school where they're like, okay, everyone, we're switching to metric. We're going to do everything in metric now. You're going to learn metric. The whole state is going metric. And so we were learning metric stuff, and then they pulled out and they said, we're not doing it anymore.
Does this have to do with the federal government? The federal government briefly flirting with changing the U.S. to metric? Yeah.
I believe so. Either that or, like I said, the state legislature, whatever. And we were all going to do it, and then they pulled out.
I don't remember this. When you were in the 5th grade, I think I was in the 2nd grade.
Oh,
I don't think they were quite ready to teach 2nd graders.
How old were you when the Challenger explosion happened?
That was 86.
Did they wheel a TV into your classroom so that you could watch?
I was 10. Wait, what month in 86 did that blow up? I was 10.
Well, you were on the West Coast, so maybe it wasn't.
I don't remember watching it live. It's possible we did. I just don't recall.
Because it was one of these weird situations where we talked about this in the podcast before, but I love bringing it up. Challenger explosion, yay! No, not that, but this. I remember that we did not watch things live on our TV that often.
In school.
So it was a big deal. So it makes me like crazy to think that the school went out of their way to bring a TV into the classroom so that we could watch this. And we
Thereby
watched this
traumatizing a
traumatic
whole
event that normally we would just find out about
Yeah.
afterwards. So
Well, I mean that I'm not surprised they did that because that was a very more so than other shuttle launches. That was more relevant to school kids because Krista McAuliffe was a school teacher who was on that flight.
and I want to say, but I don't know if this is the because there were two shuttle disasters,
Yes.
right? On one of the shuttle disasters, I think it was that one, Big Bird was supposed to be on the shuttle. And I keep thinking about what would have happened.
Oh man.
If all the kids watched Big Bird get
I don't know. Speaking of the second shuttle disaster, though, the Columbia breakup, that happened on a day when we were at your house and we were creating music overnight. I don't remember which song we were working on, but I remember listening to my radio on the bus home that morning. It was like 6 o'clock in the morning, and hearing the news report on the radio that they'd lost contact with Columbia.
And then of course we have the Commander Thinks Aloud by the Long Winters. Who, by the way, lead singer of that, the first time I ever saw it performed, it was being played on piano by the internet infamous Bean Dad.
Oh yeah.
Who I like. Have we talked about? Have I?
We have discussed Bean Dad in the past.
Yeah. So, but it's a good song.
Is that John Roderick?
That is John Roderick.
Okay.
And one of the things I love hearing about the recording of that song is the way the drum track was recorded. Like it was recorded in multiple takes overlaid on top of each other. So the guy would he'd move his drum and he'd move the mic and then he'd hit the kick drum and then he'd move around and he'd keep on. So if you listen to it again and you think about that this isn't being played live, that these are overlays that this person's done, it's really impressive. But yeah, Bean Dad. Again, just wonderful that Jennifer Pratt has been my partner in raising our child. I can only imagine what problems would have happened were I not regulated
a single
in my
father?
experimentation. Oh, I don't even know about a single father. If there is someone who is
hands off in terms of daddy-daughter time,
right, or just more easily swayed. No, this will be fun. Oh, okay. Yeah. Jennifer is very much okay. There's fun, and then there's sadism, and you think they're the same thing, but they're not.
Yeah.
I finished Dispatches from Elsewhere on AMC.
Okay.
Which is Jason Segel talking about the Institute. Oh, I think we talked about it last time.
Yeah.
But if you remember, Brett Fetzer and I we're working on something with Jennifer called Debrief.
Yes.
And Jennifer did what should have happened at the Stanford Prison Experiment, which was she was like, yeah, this is a bad idea, and I think you guys shouldn't do it. Because my intention was to untether people from reality.
Right.
And she said, I don't think that you understand how distressing this will be for people. And I'm like, that's the point. And she's like, don't do it. We brought it up, of course, because Dispatches from Elsewhere, the stuff that group does, Nonchalance, makes people feel good, not bad. And that's the problem.
That's the point.
With my ideas.
Yes, I'm keeping up with Only Murders in the Building, the most recent episode I just saw last night. But also, I've been watching Westworld. I have 2 more episodes left. 2 episodes left in season 4. Have you seen it?
Is season 4 the most recent season?
Yes.
You actually asked me if it was worth it, and I told you, I don't know, man.
That's
If you
right. I
didn't
did ask
like
you.
season 3, you may not like season 4. How are you liking
I
it? Are you
gave it
liking
a shot. I had to really struggle through the first couple episodes, but then, like, for me, episodes like 3, 4, and 5 were pretty good. I wasn't so sold on some of the choices that they made, and I heard that a friend of mine on a Discord server I'm on said that the penultimate episode is great, the final episode is garbage.
This is one of those situations where I can't remember what happened in the. Oh wait, yeah, I do remember. So you haven't finished it, is that right?
Correct. I have 2 more episodes left.
Yeah. So
7
I'm
and
not
8.
going to tell you anything about it. There are a couple of science fiction books that I read when I was a kid, and I'm not going to name them because I don't want to get into a big deal. But where the ideas were good, but they weren't, in my opinion, well written because they might have worked better as essays about, hey, let's think about this neat thing for a second, because
Yeah.
that's what the books were like. There's nothing like okay, I'm gonna be 100% honest. I loved the movie Buckaroo Banzai when I was a kid, and then I read the Buckaroo Banzai novelization. I really liked it, and then I heard that they were coming up with a new novelization, like the next chapter. I was very excited, and I got it. And you remember how I was talking about how I was reading again, and I was very excited to be reading and all that.
Yeah.
I was reading this, and it was like I hit a brick wall. I was like, why can't I get through this? And I realized as I'm going through it, oh, wait, I don't like this. That's what happened. I don't like this book, and I don't want to read it. And that's why I can't read it.
That's a
And so
very
big step,
valid. That's a very valid excuse for not finishing a book.
and I feel kind of bad about it. But the
I
other
shouldn't call it
thing
an
is
excuse. It's a
that
very valid reason for not finishing a
reason,
book.
yeah. Yeah, I'm not. No one's mad at me. I'm not in
I'm
trouble.
mad at you, Paul.
Oh no. The one thing that I do that I am going to do, which is crazy, but I'm reading something. I think we've mentioned before. Have I mentioned risk management on the podcast before?
Yes.
Okay, so I do that.
Yeah.
And I am doing something that is crazy. It feels akin to when I was reading for fun on the bus, and kids riding the bus with me would go, "What are you reading for?"
Not
Is it
what
for a
what am I
test?
reading,
And
but what am I reading for?
yeah, is it for a test? Is it for what are you doing? Oh, this is just fun for me. Okay.
Looks like we got ourselves a reader.
Oh yeah, Bill Hicks. I am going to be reading a thing about risk management that has not been assigned to me just because I'm interested in it. It's about a specific methodology, a methodology that I'm not even using, but I feel crazy. But I actually like it. I was talking to another risk manager, not on my not in my company, just talking about risk management stuff. I was like, it is amazing to me that I enjoy this. Like, if you had told me that I would like doing this, I would not have believed you. And it's one of those things of, you compare it to, like, when I worked at Iconaz Cheeseburger, right?
Yeah.
Pay was horrible. Working conditions not good. And I'm saying relative to what I now know happens.
Yeah.
Like, at the time, I didn't know.
This is just how these startups operate.
Yeah, exactly. But it was one of those things of everybody wanted to work there because it was cool. It was a cool, a cool, fun. And what I have learned is places that are fun to work aren't as good, but fun to work when the thing you're doing is fun is not as good as when you can do something that not many other people can do, and you are able to do it with people that you like, if that makes sense. So if I were working at the risk management factory with a whole bunch of other risk managers, I may not enjoy it. But when I'm the risk manager and there are other people who are doing other things, and they're all interesting and they like me and all that kind of thing, when I find out risks about what they do, I learn about the stuff that they're doing. So I'm constantly finding out about new things. It's not drudgery. The format of doing risks is the same,
Yeah.
which is good because I can learn that and then I can apply it to things. But I learned to ask questions of people like, are there any risks that you have? No. Have you ever missed a deadline? Well, sure. Okay. When you missed a deadline, what happened? Well, we were working on this server and the server became unavailable for like a week. And so it pushed our timeline. Okay, so a risk for your program then is server availability. If the server isn't available, your timeline suffers. Yes. Okay, how often does your server go down? That kind of thing. And then all of a sudden they realize, oh, wait, we do have a risk. This thing happening. And, then we figure out how to mitigate it. And there's something nice about you can't plan for everything, but it's nice when you plan for something and then that thing doesn't happen. People say, oh, that was a waste of time. No, it wasn't. It's great when you don't have to use your backup.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally get that. That's why we can never get ourselves out of this pandemic properly, because
well, yeah, I mean that's
numbers are going down. I don't have to mask and quarantine anymore.
Yeah, but think about a better example I could think of is Y2K. Right? People complain about Y2K. They say, everybody said Y2K was going to destroy everything, and then nothing happened. Well, it's because everybody freaked out about it.
Yeah.
And hey, can I show you something?
Maybe.
This is the pod. You remember the pod?
Oh yeah, hello pod.
Do you see this? The white.
The pole.
The pole here.
Yeah.
So the pole is on an angle, and I'm sitting here, and I'm looking at the pole, and whenever I look at the pole out of the corner of my eye, even though it's stable, I feel like I'm falling, because we normally use these lines to orient ourselves, right? Oh, yeah. I'm in a room and this is straight. So I get vertigo when I look at that pole.
Well, then don't look at the pole then.
I get vertigo when I look at that pole. Of course, famous rap lyric. Oh, whoa, you went crazy for a second.
Well, you're bugging out on me.
It skipped ahead.
It skipped ahead.
Same. Yeah, we're both. Yeah.
Internet. Hey. So I'm going to something tonight. Maybe if I make it. I have something else after this that I have to do. But the Seattle Theater Festival of 1448 is back this weekend.
Hey.
It is a park show in Ballard this time.
A park show, like it's 1448 is happening in the park?
It's happening in a park in Ballard.
Hey, Ballard. I used to live in Ballard.
And I am probably going to take a rideshare car there because I will not look forward to finding parking in this Ballard neighborhood. Parking in Ballard is notoriously bad.
Yes. Yeah, I like not having a car. I can't do that here, obviously.
I was just going to say, you have 2 cars, don't you?
Yeah. I think we can do no, we can't. I put decals on my car. Oh wait, Ben is frozen.
Am I, or am I just
Maybe
being
he's coming
still?
Back. No, he's still frozen. Oh, now he's over there.
I can see you.
Yeah.
I can hear you too. You're fine for me.
Oh boy. Yeah, I can see you. Oh, really? Okay. Oh, yeah. So I have I put decals on my car, and it looks great.
Like Howard Dean for president.
A tiny mouth with
Black Lives Matter.
Teeth, like little shark teeth. Okay, now you've made me realize I, that I could be doing something different and maybe more socially conscious. No, they're shark teeth. I made my car look like a animal.
Cool.
It's
I
really
think our
nice.
lag is incredibly long right now. Let's do a clap test.
Okay.
So you start, and I'll follow you.
Okay. We are clapping on three.
1, 2, clap.
1, 2, clap. Okay.
Okay. 1,
One,
2.
2. Okay. Now, Ben, you do it for me.
Okay. So 1, 2, clap, and 1, 2, clap. Yeah, it's bad.
Yeah.
It's
Bad.
probably worse for you. I
Do you
think it's
want,
worse for you, but
do you want me to try hanging up and calling back in, or not worried?
nah, we only got 20 minutes left anyway.
Yeah. And again, we're patient.
Exactly. We
Unlike
just,
some people.
maybe the listeners will be patient as well. Maybe not. Who knows? We do ask a lot of our listeners.
Yeah, you can't see the chat.
I can't see the chat. I don't know if Drunk is with us
There's a chance
today.
that the people in the chat are screaming at us.
Probably. I don't know what happened. I mean,
You
if
guys
you're just joining us, and it looks like there's one person watching us. There was an issue at the very beginning of the show where YouTube would not allow us to stream, and so I had to like shut everything down and restart it. And for some reason now, for me at least, the chat does not show up. I cannot see the chat while we. Actually, maybe I can tune in on my phone and see it there. But yeah. It's this whole 5 years of podcasting is we're still figuring out. It's one big performance art experiment.
And the other thing is that Ben and I have lag that is bad
Bad,
for
so bad.
us.
Oh God. Yeah, Steven is with us,
Probably-
and he has been commenting, and so is Chris. Hey, Chris.
Oh.
So let me go
All
through
right,
the comments.
Yep. Exactly.
All right.
Ready for it.
Chris, I did not know that they are renting studio space at OK Hotel. Steven says 1 million COBOL programmers saved us from Y2K.
Exactly.
Paul working the pole for comedy. I don't suppose there's any vocal code system you could use for such difficulties instead of like the clapping. The motto of Ballard, it's farther than you think. Yep. And Steven says, just typing to myself here, I guess. You are right. You are just typing to yourself. I can now see your comments, and I can comment on my phone here. But yeah, something's weird on on my end user, on the back end of the YouTube streaming. I've been unhappy with YouTube for quite some time. But it's the only game in town.
Oh, actually, there are other ones. Ben, you can heard that you can stream it. Oh, could you imagine? You don't have to do. You don't have to do a video game. That's what I was saying. I'm an old man, Ben.
Video game?
You don't have to be playing video games. You can sit in a hot tub. It's my understanding. Let's
Where are
see
you going with
other
this?
things that you can do. Oh no, for Twitch, I mean. So we could do our podcast on Twitch.
I see. Yeah. Twitch. Yeah. Or you can live stream on Vimeo, but you have to like subscribe for like $1,000 a year.
No thanks. Yuck.
Yeah.
Oh hey, speaking of subscribing for $1,000 a year, I'm getting very excited about the AI art stuff that's out there. There's one that goes through Discord. I can't remember its name, and I'm not gonna say which it is, but that one, Dream, and then CRAION AI. Yeah. Crayon, but AI.com. All of them, crayon.com.
Just call it
does
Cran.
not have a subscription model yet, but almost all the other ones have a subscription model, and it's bad because they censor their prompts. Like if you do like so I'll give you and it's I'm not like saying that I wanna make AI generated art porn. I mean, now that I
Not
say
yet.
but no, like so here's the thing. For my D&D game, I have come up with this monster that I think is great. So they're on a magic train, and there's a wizard that's running the engine. And the wizard that's running the engine, they come in, and if they try to do anything to it, he's going to stand very still and he's like, "You guys have to get out of here right now." And they're like, "What, are you threatening us?" And he'll say, "Not me, him." And they're going to look and they're going to see a bucket, and out of the bucket is going to come this bloody arm that's super long. And this is my idea for a horrifying monster. I think it is this bloody arm out of a bucket that just picks people up and throws them, and like uses his hand to drag the bucket towards you, all that kind of stuff. um but when I tried to make one of the AIs do a picture of it, it said, "Uh-oh, it looks like you tried to use the word bloody. That's a forbidden word. Trying to circumvent our censorship policy, will, or our safety guidelines, will make you get permanently banned or whatever."
Yeah.
Or, you'll get a warning or whatever, which is, I get it, right? I'll work around it. I won't have a bloody arm. But if you are asking me to pay
Covered in
you,
chocolate.
$120 a year, I mean, sorry, $120 a year to use your service, I should be able to get a long bloody arm coming out of a bucket as a picture. My thoughts. So
I don't disagree with
that's
you.
the
I
only
can
thing.
only
It's
imagine that
much
the
like,
learning curve of
sorry,
a user generated content like that is pretty hard for the company because
having
they have to keep
problems
coming
with
up with new rules.
Ben lagging when he's
Yeah.
talking.
You're
I don't know
frozen
if
for me
Ben
too.
can hear
I
me,
can I can
but
hear
this
you
is
actually, but you're and now are you back? Are you back? Your eyes are half closed. Oh, there we go.
yeah. So you're frozen. I can hear you though, but for a
All right.
while you were lagging. But yeah,
Ah.
Ben, I think what you're saying. This is one of those cases where I didn't hear you, but I think I know what you're saying from the small snippets that I heard. Let me say what I think you're saying. You tell me if I'm right or not.
Okay.
That the companies themselves are liable for the stuff that you make that's on their platform, and so they need to do censorship stuff.
Yes.
Is that close?
Yeah.
My thing is this, and this comes, I think, a lot from my quitting social media stuff and all that. If I'm paying you, I don't want my stuff to be part of your online content. I don't want you to be able to take the images that I make. If I'm paying
Yeah.
you to use your service, I should be able to make whatever I want, and you shouldn't force me to be part of your social media stuff.
Right.
Just my 2 cents. I could be
So
wrong.
in
That's when I
regards
realized I can draw pictures of whatever I want.
in regards to circumventing the bloody arm, Steven says, "You're telling me Paul doesn't know the word marinara?"
Oh, that's what they're talking about when they say if you try to circumvent our stuff. They weren't saying I was trying to circumvent it by saying bloody arm. They said you can't use bloody, and also we're warning you if you try to circumvent it, will.
Right.
So if I
So-
said an arm covered in marinara, there eventually might be a moderator who would come by and say you can't do that. Oh, but the other one, Dream, when if you type something that it finds offensive, it says could not return results.
Yeah.
problem processing results.
Steven also
And
says,
I think that that's what it is. Is it?
Steven says, Paul Goody's motto, I'm not listening to you, but I'm pretty sure I know what you said.
Steven, I'm going to pretend just for a second that you and I are on a conference call, and no, not you, because you're not. But let me just say that I have. This is what I'll say. I have uttered this on a conference call before. Let me stop you before you finish that sentence. Tell you where I think this entire conversation is going, and see if we can end that conversation before it starts, because we have a very limited amount of time. And then I will say something to the effect of, are you going to tell me that the reason that this isn't going to work is because we do not have enough server space? And you're going to explain to me why we don't have enough server space. And then they will say, yes. 9 times out of 10, the thing that I said, are you going to say this? And then I say, okay, let's not worry about what happened in the past. Can we get you more server space? Is that a thing that we can do? You know, that there's a lot of times when I've sat through 10 meetings where it is like push play, and the two sides argue back and forth over the exact same thing. We don't have enough server space. We can't give you any more server space, but we don't have enough server space, but we can't give, that sort of thing, back and forth. And so that's the thing that I've started doing, is saying, are we going to get into this conversation loop? Because why don't we just jump to the point where we all realize that this isn't happening and come up with a different solution? Which is very similar to, I wasn't listening to you. Yeah, exactly. And I was just using that as an example. Maybe that's not the problem. Maybe what we really need is someone who can translate the alien hieroglyphics. Possible.
But to do that,
I told you we can't translate the hieroglyphics. Exactly. to translate the hieroglyphics, you need to hire a cryptolinguist. We don't have the budget to hire a cryptolinguist.
Great. So how do we make money to hire a cryptolinguist?
People,
well, we make money by interpreting these alien hieroglyphics.
Exactly. I have said in front of a room full of people, look, if no one knows how to do this, you might as well let me try, because if no one knows how to do this, I have just as much of a chance as anybody to fix this. And they don't like that.
No.
I am no better skilled than anyone else, apparently, regarding this problem, but I have a will to actually see it solved. And therefore, I will bang my head against the brick wall if no one else will. Which apparently is a useful skill. You find later on that people will allow you to bang your head against a brick wall sometimes.
As long as it gets
and
them what they need.
And they'll pay you for it.
I'm so glad I don't have to be on corporate conference calls.
As long, not as long. This is the thing, and I think Stephen will back me up on this. Not as long as you can get them what they need, but as long as they can tell their boss that there is someone working on it, and they can blame that person if it doesn't get done.
Yep.
So you can actually become a professional person who has disappointed someone by not finishing something. That could be your whole MO. Now, luckily, I have finished things to the surprise of everyone. I read a book about it, was a phrase that I used one time. How did you do that? I read a book about it. It's funny
Yeah.
how many people in the corporate world do not read anymore. It didn't used to be that way, but now,
Is that a phenomenon that you've noticed in your corporate world experience?
um, not so much. Yeah, and let me say, I'm saying this is an industry-wide problem. Um, the a company is called upon to produce a white paper that explains things to someone, and the company puts that white paper over to the people who requested it. And then later on in a meeting, the company asks, can you please be sure to invite whoever read the white paper to the meeting so that we can discuss it with them? To which they say, no one has read the white paper, but we have it in our knowledge base now,
Right. So we can reference
which
it if
is
we need
exciting.
it.
Exactly.
Steven says on the chat,
How's
it's
the
from Clubfoot. If monkeys could learn to tolerate misery, they'd make great programmers.
yeah, this is something and Stephen, I don't know if you've seen this or not. The rise of a difference between someone who can program and someone who can, I don't know how to say it, like copy code from one web page into your company's program and see if it will work. That's a
I'm
fun
a
thing
professional
also.
copy and paster. Just go to Stack Overflow or GitHub,
Yeah,
select
that's
all, copy paste.
this is what I've noticed. Again, not the people that I work with
Oh no, not the
necessarily,
people you
but
work for.
people that I people that I come into contact with. When you say, okay, so what broke this thing? I don't know. It could be one of five of things that I just pasted into the, that kind of thing. Can happen. This was supposed to work. It said that it worked, or it worked on my local machine, but then when it goes out to, you know, the rest of the environment, it doesn't work anymore, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Not
It
me. I'm not a programmer, but
it
it's
works
just
for me.
something
I
that
don't know
I
why it's not
hear.
working for you.
Exactly.
Yeah, we've all worked with some of
It
those
works
guys.
in my when I'm not hooked up to the internet, that sort of thing. But you can't see it, but well, no, actually you can. This is something I'm used to saying on conference calls and stuff. You can't see it, but I'm smiling right now. You can't see it, but I'm nodding along right now. That
You
sort of
can't see it, but I'm flipping you the bird
disclaimer.
right now.
And that, Ben, comes from doing a podcast. What's that?
You can't see it, but I'm flipping you off right now.
Exactly. That's right. That's right. Hey, news wise, I don't know anything. Do you know anything?
Geez, what's happened? I can't immediately recall any big news stories. Biden signed the Inflation Reduction Act into law.
What is that exactly? What does it do?
It's just a
Reduces
watered.
inflation.
It's a well,
Oh,
it's a
read it.
watered down bill of a lot of the stuff he wanted to accomplish in his first term, but
Oh,
they had to like capitulate to the Republicans and a couple of the Democrats to actually get something to in the bill, to law. But it's
but
considered a win for
it's
Biden.
law now.
Yeah,
Hey, a win for Biden.
it's a
Yay!
win for
Again,
America.
I never forget, Ben. Biden? What? How did that happen? I remember saying to myself.
I remember creating a bumper sticker. Ugh, Biden, I guess.
Yeah, So, but then also, I remember my conservative parents saying I could see myself maybe voting for Biden. And it was that kind of commitment that really,
That really united the country.
yeah, exactly. I guess, yeah, exactly. Both sides, Biden. Uh, if Biden is listening as he normally does to the podcast, I
to the
apologize.
GudeLaurance podcast, which
To
looks like
hurt
we've
his
come
feelings.
to the end for this week.
Hey, look at that! It is that time, Ben. I gotta say, one last thing I've noted. You know how I stopped drinking caffeine a while back?
Yes.
So my child Betty is becoming somewhat of a mixologist,
Yeah, you mentioned
and
that.
some of the things that she makes have caffeine in them. And this isn't so much me falling off the wagon as much as me realizing that part of the problem was that I was abusing caffeine like crazy. And it is somewhat of a mood elevator.
Yeah.
Like I feel like I can um get to a level that is higher than normal without being debilitating. I don't know if it's true or not, but I felt like I should mention it on the podcast that I have had energy drink laden with heavy cream and weird the stuff that is made tastes very interesting.
And when you,
And
I don't
some
think
of
Betty
it's
listens. When
very
you say
good.
interesting, what do you mean?
Like, oh, I've never had that flavor before. It's actually pretty good.
Okay, okay.
There was something that was like Red Bull and half and something else. And when you hear that, you go, "Oh no." She gave it to me because she didn't like it. I
Yeah.
thought it was very tasty.
Well, there you go.
So there's that.
And with
Yeah.
that,
And until then, Ben, yes, I ask you to please keep it wrong.
and I ask you too to keep it wrong, and I'll talk to you next week.
All right, Ben.
Yes.
Same.
Okay.
We're going to be on Fridays now.